Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still within the larger bearish trend, but we are just now confirming a new signal in the short term that we need to pay attention to, while Ethereum is playing out the same oversold signal again here in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, telling us that at least for now we're still within the larger bearish trend, as I've been saying for a long time now on the channel. And if we're taking a look at the 2-day time frame, once again we're still within this larger bearish trend on the larger time frames, forming lower highs and lower lows, which is what a bearish trend is. But of course, during this larger bearish trend, we can see the occasional short-term bullish trend or short-term bullish relief here and there during the larger bearish trend. And as of right now, the support line for this bearish trend right here for the descending broadening wedge pattern, the line of support is sitting at just underneath 53,000, and the line of resistance is sitting at just above 68,000. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, we've just seen a continued bounce here in the DXY over the last 1 day. So this is still a bit of a warning signal that's flashing right now here in the short term for the price of Bitcoin. But I talked more about this right here in my last video here on the channel. So if you want to know more about this chart right here, the DXY spiking to the upside being a warning signal for Bitcoin in the short term, then check out my last video here on the channel to find out more. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, obviously we're still trading below this area, which was previous support and should now act as new resistance, which we did actually see just recently a couple of days ago. This did act as a resistance in between around 60,000 to just above 61,000. And above that area, we have more resistance at around 62.9k, give or take, and a lot more resistance at around 64,500. And as for short-term support, we do have some support at around 58,000, give or take, and below 58k we have more support in between around 56 to 57,000, and below that area we also have a bit of short-term support at around 54,000 and significant support in between 51 to 53,000. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, we can now see a new bullish divergence has just confirmed on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart. So obviously over the last couple of days, I talked about a short-term bullish divergence only on the 45-minute chart, which was also somewhat visible on the hour chart. And that was right around here and played out very well over the next 1 to 2 days, which I talked about over the last 1 to 2 days. But since my last video, we have seen that slight little drop right here, which actually created a new lower low in the candle closes here in the Bitcoin price on the 4-hour time frame. So we have now a new lower low in the price in the candle closes and a new higher low now confirmed in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is of course a bullish divergence. And considering this is now confirmed on the 4-hour time frame, not just on the 45-minute chart, considering this is on the 4-hour time frame, it should last at least a bit longer than the bullish divergence on the 45-minute chart, because like I said over the last couple of days, on the smaller time frames, basically those patterns and signals do not last very long, sometimes over a matter of hours, sometimes over 1 to 2 days. But these bullish divergences on the 4-hour time frame, once again, they last a little bit longer. So potentially half a week to maybe 1 week, we could be expecting a bit of a consolidation or perhaps a slight bullish relief, basically a break from all of the bearish momentum just over the next few days, possibly over the next week, that sort of time frame. But remember that at least for now, this is all currently occurring within a larger bearish trend. So even if we see a bit of a bullish relief or sideways consolidation over a few days or over 1 week, that would perhaps look something like that, for example, which obviously doesn't really change the overall trend here on the larger timeframes. And so that's why it's important to understand the difference between the different timeframes. These larger timeframes are obviously more significant and they take a lot longer to change direction. And on the smaller timeframes, these change direction almost every couple of days or so. And so once again, at least for the next few days, we are due to see at least a bit of a break from all of the bearish momentum in the form of perhaps a slight bullish relief or at least some sideways consolidation. Basically, something like this is most likely going to happen over the next few days or so during the larger bearish trend. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitget, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitget. So for those of you, for example, that might be in the US or the UK, where you may not be able to access Bybit, you should be able to access Bitget because it does not require any KYC. And using the link down below this video to Bitget, you can get 5.5k in deposit bonuses and also 10% off trading fees, but only if you use the link down below this video. So once again, as an alternative exchange, as another option out there, there is this as well. If you want to get those extra bonuses and that fee discount, check out the link below this video. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and over the last few days or so, obviously we haven't really seen a lot of action here, just chopping around sideways after that drop to the downside. But just over the last one day, we took out a little bit of liquidity to the downside, which was sitting at around 57,500 and around 58,000, give or take. And as for other liquidity levels to watch out for, we still have some liquidity at around 57,000 approximately. But with that being said, the majority of the liquidity as of right now is sitting above the current Bitcoin price. First of all, we do have some liquidity at around 61 to 61,500, but most of the liquidity, the main levels to watch out for, are sitting at around 62,500 and around 63,000, with some more liquidity starting to build at around 65.2k. And so those are just some important levels to pay attention to on the Bitcoin chart, but also do remember that between the current price and those higher levels of liquidity, of course, there are other levels of resistance along the way where the price could also struggle at. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still basically chopping around sideways, playing out a bit of a sideways consolidation in between the support at around 2450 to 2.5k and the resistance at around 2.8k. But remember, at least for now, this is currently occurring within a larger bearish trend, because ultimately, if we're looking at the highs and the lows on this 3-day time frame, we're still seeing lower highs and lower lows, which is a bearish trend. But just in the short term, during the larger bearish trend, for the meantime, I do expect a bit of a relief, so a break from all of the bearish momentum just in the imminent short term, mostly in the form of some choppy sideways price action here, just a continued sideways consolidation, kind of like what we've seen over the last couple of weeks or so. And one of the reasons why I do continue to expect that type of price action, at least for the next few days, is due to the fact that we're playing out this oversold signal, as I've said over the last few days here on the 8-hour time frame. And as I've talked about over the last few days, if we're looking at these previous examples where the 8-hour Ethereum RSI entered into oversold territories, basically over the next few days or weeks, we did see a bit of a relief from all of the bearish momentum, mostly in the form of a slight bullish relief, but this by itself is not enough to confirm the bottom of the bearish trend. So ultimately, in all of these previous examples, basically besides this one so far, we did end up ultimately making a new lower low later on. And so once again, at least for now, based on all of this information, we're still within the larger bearish trend, but in the short term, for the next few days, we're most likely going to see a bit of a break from all of the bearish momentum. Something like this is probably the most likely scenario here in the short term. This is what I'm expecting here in the short term over the next couple of days or so during the larger bearish trend, simply based on this information right here. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 6-hour time frame, we can still see this active rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish pattern with a bearish break to the downside here with a bearish price target sitting at around 2.3k. So at least for now, 2.3k is an active price target to pay attention to. But between now and then, once again, we do have a bit of short-term support at around 2450 to 2.5k. And also, once again, we cannot forget that at least for now, we're still playing out this oversold signal signal here on this 8-hour time frame. So for at least the next few days or so, we're most likely going to see this type of price action here, despite the fact that we still technically have a bearish price target at 2.3k. But with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and what we are seeing right now in Solana is finally a break to the downside. We're starting to break below this area right here in between around 139 to 143, give or take. And so especially if we see some more confirmation here by confirming more candle closes below 139, and especially if we flip this area into new resistance by seeing some sort of rejection from this area, then in that case, it's becoming increasingly likely that we're going to come back down towards this area of support, which previously was significant support for the price, so should still be acting as major support, sitting in between around 120 to 128. And the only way to really avoid a drop into that price range right there is if we very quickly, over the next 1 or 2 days or so, quickly reclaim this area right here. So if we can quickly rebound back above 139 to 143, give or take, then in that case, we could avoid that drop to the downside here if we quickly reclaim this area on the chart. But if we take too long, if we start basically seeing this type of price action and slowly bleed to the downside here, or especially if we reject from this area, then once again, in the coming days or weeks, expect a move potentially down towards this area right here as the next major area of support. And in that situation, this area, as I just said, should become new resistance. But if we see a further bounce back to the upside, we also have major resistance right here, which is where we saw pretty much a perfect rejection from over the last 1 week, sitting in between 159 to 163. And as for the momentum right now, in the short term, we're clearly looking bearish, at least for now. The short-term momentum is bearish, but this is currently occurring within a larger sideways price range, at least as of right now, with relatively horizontal highs and horizontal lows for at least as long as we're remaining above this area on the chart. Because obviously, if we start breaking below this area, below 120, that would be an extremely bearish signal, not just for the short term, but for the larger trend, talking about potentially a bear market. If we see a break below 120, that would be very bad news for the price of Solana on the larger timeframes. But at least for now, we're only simply bearish in the shorter term during a larger sideways price range. At least for now, that is the current situation. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.